Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Welcome back to our alley review series practice quiz, and this is now part 5 of our tropical design and green architecture series. So instructions before proceeding with the quiz: it is best to get a piece of paper muna, cut lengthwise, and then write down numbers 1 to 30 so that when you are ready, you can now start with the quiz, and for every question, write down the corresponding letter of your best choice or answer from the multiple choice. And you will be given 10 seconds to finalize your answer. At the end of the quiz, count the total number of your correct answers and check your score rating. So if you are now ready, good luck. Number 1. Integration in time of weather conditions, characteristics of a certain geographical location. A. Climate, B. Weather, C. Temperature, and D. Season. And our correct answer is letter A, climate. So climate is the average or integration of weather conditions, that is temperature, humidity, wind, precipitation, etc., over a long period of time for a specific location. Compare that with weather, that is short-term atmospheric conditions. For example, what is the weather today? At anong weather tomorrow? So yon. Number 2, the temperature of the outside air in contact with a shaded wall or roof, which would give the same rate of heat transfer and the same temperature gradient as the combined effect of solar radiation and air temperature. A. Dry bulb temperature, B. Wet bulb temperature, C. Sol air temperature, and D. Surface temperature. And our correct answer is letter C, Sol air temperature. So Sol air temperature is a conceptual temperature used in building design to account for the combined effects of solar radiation and outdoor air temperature on walls or roofs. It represents the equivalent outdoor temperature that would cause the same heat transfer as the combined effect. Number 3. Instrument used for measuring relative humidity. A. Thermometer, B. Hygrometer, C. Vane anemometer, and D. Pyranometer. And our correct answer is letter B, hygrometer. So a hygrometer is an instrument used to measure the relative humidity of the air. So relative humidity ang measure, hindi yung absolute or any other types of humidities, but relative humidity for hygrometer. Number 4. For tropical zones, the cores are located in these sides of the building form so as to help shade the building throughout the day. A. East. 1 is 2 west, 3 north, and 4 south. So letter A, east and south. B, west and north. C is east and west. And D, west and south. And our correct answer is letter C, the east and the west. So in tropical climates, the east and west sides of a building receive the most direct sunlight during the day. So placing cores like the stairwells, elevators, or service areas on the east and west sides help shade the interior spaces from harsh sun and reduce heat gain in the occupied areas. Number 5. Angle of the position of the sun along the horizon. measured to the east or west from true north. A. Azimuth. B. Latitude. C. Altitude. And D. Sun path. And our correct answer is letter A, azimuth. So azimuth is the horizontal angle of the sun measured along the horizon, usually from true north or sometimes from true south toward east or west. So ito, from the north, the angle here is what you call the azimuth. Altitude, on the other hand, is the vertical angle of the sun if this is the horizon, and that is the angle of the sun. That is the altitude. Number 6. Maximum solar heat factor for roofs in warm, humid tropics. A. 3%. B. 5%. C. 4%. And D. 6%. And our correct answer is letter A, 3%. So the solar heat factor for warm, humid climates for roofs is 3% and for walls is 4%, while the time lag is 3 hours maximum. Itong time lag sa mga walls to, na? 7. Major thermal design factors to be studied includes the following, except 1. A. Conduction heat flow. B. Outdoor conditions. C. Solar heat gain. And D. Ventilation heat flow. And our correct answer is letter B. Outdoor conditions. So major thermal design factors focus on mechanisms of heat transfer and control in buildings. Conduction heat flow is the heat transfer through walls, roofs, and floors. Solar heat gain is the heat entering through windows and building envelope. And ventilation heat flow is the heat added or removed by air movement. Outdoor conditions, on the other hand, like temperature, humidity, and wind, are environmental inputs, not a direct thermal design factor themselves. They are considered in calculations, but they are not a mechanism of heat transfer. Number 8. A measure of a material's ability to reflect heat with white or light colors, having high reflectance, and dark or black surfaces with low or little reflectance, thereby having higher temperatures. A. Thermal emittance. B. Albedo value. C. Surface conductance coefficient. And D. Solar reflectance index. And our correct answer is letter D, Solar Reflectance Index. So according to the Philippine Green Building Code, Solar Reflectance Index, SRI, is a measure of a material's ability to reflect heat with white or light colors having high reflectance, and dark or black surfaces with low or little reflectance, thereby having higher temperature. So yung black is SRI 0, while yung white is a very high SRI of 108. Number 9. Which of the following statements is not true? A. Heat gain in the tropics is due mainly to solar radiation at the building surface. B. In hot climates, heat gains are the highest when there are low wind speeds. C. Relative humidities in the tropical regions are very low. And D. Absorptivity of the surface to solar radiation is of primary importance in tropical regions. And our correct answer is letter C. Relative humidities in the tropical regions are very low. So in tropical regions, relative humidity is generally high, not low, which affects thermal comfort and evaporative cooling potential. So hindi tama yung very low. Number 10, regional climate. A, mesoclimate. B, macroclimate. C, microclimate. And D, diurnal. And our correct answer is macroclimate. So, a macroclimate refers to the regional or large-scale climate covering big areas such as provinces, regions, or entire countries. While mesoclimate is climate of a local area such as a town, district, or valley. And microclimate is very small-scale climate such as around a building, courtyard, or group of trees. Diurnal, on the other hand, this one is the difference in temperature, daytime, and nighttime temperatures. 11. This design variable refers to materials and construction, thermal insulation, surface qualities, shading, and sun control. A. Building fabric. B. Fenestration. C. Air lightness. And D. Building shape. And our correct answer is letter A, building fabric. So building fabric refers to the materials, construction methods, insulation surface properties, and shading sun control strategies that influence a building's thermal performance. On the other hand, fenestration refers specifically to windows, openings, glazing, and shading devices, while air tightness or air lightness relates to the building's resistance to unwanted air leakage. Number 12. Any cool mass that is available for the absorption of excess heat, including water bodies, the ground, and massive building materials. A. Heat sink. B. Water features. C. Cooling breezes. And D. Radiant cooling. And our correct answer is letter A, heat sink. So a heat sink is any mass such as water bodies, soil, or thick building materials that can absorb and store excess heat, helping to regulate temperature. So magandang strategy is to put a water body near a building so that yung kung saan galing ang prevailing wind, no? So yung mainit na hangin, inaabsorb ng water yung heat doon at ang inaano sa building, ang lumalabas na hangin is a much cooler air, no? At kinagamit din yan para by evaporation, yung cool air papasok din sa loob ng building. 13. The diagram shown indicate which of the following about the relationship between wind and the mass of high-rise buildings. A. Wind acts the same on all vertical surfaces, regardless of mass and material differentiation. B. More wind turbulence is created at the street level of wide, smooth surface facades. C. Wind turbulence is of minimum concern in the relationship between high-rise buildings and the street. And letter D. Wind turbulence is increased at street level by stepped building forms. And our correct answer is letter B. More wind turbulence is created at the street level of wide, smooth facades. In tall buildings, wide and smooth vertical facades tend to create strong downdrafts as wind strikes the surface and is forced downward. This increases turbulence at street level, making pedestrian zones windy and uncomfortable. On the other hand, this one, a stepped building form, helped break up wind, reducing turbulence at street level. Number 14. The 2016 Philippine Green Building Code, approved in June 2015, shall apply to all new construction and or with alteration of condominium buildings with a minimum total gross floor area TGFA of A. 5,000 square meters, B. 10,000 square meters, C. 15,000 square meters, and D. 20,000 square meters. And our correct answer is letter D, 20,000 square meters. So according to the Philippine Green Building Code, the minimum TGFA for building use covered by the Green Building Code is for condominium 20,000 square meters, while for hotel, resort, educational, school, institutional, hospital, business, office, and mixed occupancy is 10,000 square meters, while for mercantile mall is at 15,000 square meters. So kapag ganyan ang floor area, TGFA, then the provisions of Philippine Green Building Code shall apply. Number 15. In wall assemblies, what does WWR means? A. Window to wall ratio. B. Windward wall resistance. C. Wall waterproofing rating. And D. Weighted wall reflectance. And our correct answer is letter A, window to wall ratio. So according to the Philippine Green Building Code, window to wall ratio, WWR, is the ratio of the total area of a building facade which is occupied by windows, glass area, and frame. So that means window glass area over the wall area. The requirement of window to wall ratio needs to be balanced with the amount of daylight coming through the glazed area. So importante yung ma-determine, no? Yung required na amount of daylight.
Enroll at Atlas CDC Review for a comprehensive prep for the Architecture Board exams. Message us now.
Number 16. Used to determine the amount of solar heat admitted through the glass divided by the total solar radiation incident on the glass. A. Visible light transmittance. B. Shading coefficient. C. Solar reflectance index. And D. Solar heat gain coefficient. And our correct answer is the solar heat gain coefficient. So according to the PGBC, the solar heat gain coefficient, SHGC, is used to determine the amount of solar heat admitted through the glass, and then divided by the total solar radiation incident on the glass. Also, the Green Building Code says that solar heat gain coefficient is the fraction of solar gain admitted through a window, expressed as a number between 0 and 1. Number 17. Used to determine the amount of light transmitted through the glass. A. Visible light transmittance. B. Luminous efficacy ratio. C. Solar reflectance index, and D. Solar heat gain coefficient. And our correct answer is letter A, visible light transmittance. So, visible light transmittance, or VLT, is used to determine the amount of light transmitted through the glass. On the other hand, when you only say visible transmittance, it is the ratio of total transmitted light to total incident light. No? So, total transmitted light over total incident light, with the higher value allowing more incident light to pass through the glazing. Number 18. As per PGBC, operable windows or balcony door shall be provided in regularly occupied spaces. The size of the opening shall be equal to at least blank of the floor area of regularly occupied spaces. A. 5%, B. 10%, C. 15%, and D. 20%. And our correct answer is letter B, 10% of the floor area of regularly occupied spaces. So this requirement from the Philippine Green Building Code is very similar to the requirement of the National Building Code, as well as the Fire Code, and also the requirement of BP 220. Number 19, light-colored building envelope, especially the roof areas which are the most vulnerable, can reduce heat transfer from the outside to the inside of the building. What is the minimum solar reflectance index, SRI, for metal roof surfaces? A. 70, B. 80, C. 90, and D. 95. And our correct answer is letter A, 70. So, the building metal roof surfaces shall either be colored white or have a minimum SRI, or solar reflectance index, of 70. Number 20, as per PGBC, in applicable buildings, lighting fixtures within the daylight zone shall be controlled with blank. A. Time switch controls, B. Occupancy sensors, C. Photoelectric sensors, and D. Manual dimmer controls. And our correct answer is photoelectric sensors. So, applicable buildings shall comply with the following. Lighting fixtures within the daylight zone, yung inaabot ng daylight mula sa bintana, no? Shall be controlled with photoelectric sensors with an auto on-off basis or continual dimming. The photoelectric sensor shall be located approximately at 1/2 the depth of the daylight zone. A photoelectric sensor is a device used to detect the distance, absence, or presence of an object by using a light transmitter, often infrared, and a photoelectric receiver. Number 21. As per PGBC, for covered car parks, a minimum of blank of the lighting must be controlled by occupancy sensors. A. 30%, B. 40%, C. 50%, and D. 60%. And our correct answer is letter D, 60%. So for covered car parks, minimum of 60% of the lighting must be controlled by the occupancy sensors. So ito yung mga occupancy sensors. So kapag naka-red, supposedly yung ilaw sa tapat ay pwede nang wala, no? Para makasave sa electricity. So yung green, yung bakante, yun lang ang merong ilaw na ganito, no? Na white light or general lighting. Of course, yung driveway ay kailangan merong liwanag, no? Number 22, as per PGBC, the escalator, moving ramp, or walkway shall automatically be put on a standby mode when no activity has been detected for a maximum period of blank minutes. A2, B3, C5, and D10. And our correct answer is 5 minutes. So the escalator, moving ramp walkway, shall automatically be put on a standby mode when no activity has been detected for a maximum period of 5 minutes, and duration may be adjusted depending on the demand. Number 23. As per the Philippine Green Building Code, lighting shall switch off after the elevator has been inactive for a maximum period of blank minutes. A2, B3, C5, and D10. And our correct answer is letter C, 5 minutes. So the use of energy-efficient lighting and display lighting in the elevator car shall have an average lamp efficacy across all fittings in the car of more than 55 lumens per watt. Lighting shall switch off after the elevator has been inactive for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Number 24. As per PGBC, to reduce dependence on motorized systems to supply and distribute potable or non-potable water within the building, thus help reduce energy consumption, and overhead or elevated water storage systems are used, provided there's a blank fire reserve over and above the average daily demand supply. A, 10%. B, 15%, C, 20%, and D, 30%. And our correct answer is letter C. So, merong 20% na dire-reserve, no, for fire purposes, while the rest of the tank shall be for the normal water supply system within the building. Number 25. For rainwater harvesting, the minimum storage tank size in cubic meters shall be calculated by dividing the building footprint area by blank. A, 15, B, 25, C, 50, and D, 75. And our correct answer is letter D, 75. So, kunin mo yung building footprint, i-divide mo sa 75, then you will get the cubic meters requirement for the storage tanks for rainwater harvesting. And rainwater is one of the purest sources of water available. So, rainwater from roofs and hardscape must be collected and reused for non-potable purposes. So, the minimum storage tanks shall be calculated by dividing the building footprint area by 75. And this collected water shall be used for non-potable purposes such as toilet flushing, irrigation, and cooling towers. Number 26. as per PGBC, a minimum of blank of the required unpaved surface area as required in Rule 7 and 8 of the NBC shall be vegetated with indigenous and adaptable species. A. 20%, B. 30%, C. 40%, and D. 50%. And our correct answer is letter D, 50%. So a minimum of 50% of the required unpaved surface area or USA as required in Rule 7 and 8 of the NBCP shall be vegetated with indigenous and adaptable species. Yung mga itatanim na halaman ay dapat indigenous and adaptable. Number 27 describes how well a building element conducts heat, measuring the rate of heat transfer through a building element over a given area under standardized conditions. So, conducts heat ito, no? So, A, R value, B, U value, C, thermal conductivity, and D, heat transfer coefficient. And our correct answer is the U value. So the U value describes how well a building element conducts heat, measuring the rate of heat transfer through a building element over a given area under standardized conditions. So a lower U value means more insulation and less heat loss, while a higher U value has less insulation and more heat loss. On the other hand, R value is the resistance value or the capacity to resist heat loss or thermal resistance. So yan yung kabaliktaran, no? Ito, U value is conducts heat while R value is resist heat. Number 28, a measure of how much light or solar radiation a surface reflects. A. Solar reflectance index. B. Albedo. C. Surface reflectivity, and D. Visible reflectance factor. And our correct answer is letter B, albedo. So a high albedo surface like snow, white roofs, or light-colored paving reflects a large percentage of sunlight and staying cooler. A low albedo surface like asphalt, dark roofs, or soil absorbs more sunlight, becoming hotter. It is expressed as a value between 0 and 1, or sometimes as a percentage where 1 or 100% reflects all incoming light, and 0 or 0% absorbs all incoming light. Kaya makita nyo dito yung dark like asphalt as a very low albedo as compared to a white paint na medyo mataas ang kanyang albedo up to 0.9, no? Or 90% ang kanyang albedo. So colored paint has a lower albedo than the white paint. Number 29, building whose occupants experience acute health and or comfort effects that appear to be linked to time spent therein, but where no specific illness or cause can be identified. A. Building-related illness. B. Indoor air quality disorder. C. Sick building syndrome. And D. Environmental comfort syndrome. And our correct answer is letter C, sick building syndrome. So when you say sick building syndrome or SBS, building whose occupants I experienced the acute health and/or comfort effects that appear to be linked to time spent therein, but where no specific illness or cause can be identified. On the other hand, when you say building-related illness or BRI, diagnosable illness whose cause and symptoms can be directly attributed to a specific pollutant source within a building. And lastly, number 30, maximum flow rate for a single flush water closet in liters per flushing cycle. A 4.9, B 6, C 8, and D 9. And our correct answer is letter A, 4.9. So this is as per the Philippine Green Building Code. For single flush water closet is 4.9 liters per flushing cycle, while a dual flush water closet for a full flush is 6 liters per flushing cycle. For low is 3 liters per flushing cycle. While shower is 9 liters per minute at 551.6 kPa. On the other hand, urinal is 1 liter per flushing cycle. Lavatory taps, kitchen faucets, handheld bidet springs are 4.8 liters per minute at 417.7 kPa. And that's it for our quiz. Congratulations for completing the quiz. Now, count your total correct answers and determine your score category. If your rating is 15 or less, it is time for a more strategic review.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.